Hi all, my name is Krista Fizet. I am making this video because I want to explain a little bit about why I'm wearing this headdress in many of my videos and talking in a different language. We all have heard about diversity in workplaces, biodiversity, diversity in talents and language, but at this time I want to specifically mention about linguistic diversity. As we all know, language is a very essential part of people, and language of a group of people reflects how that group think, perceive others, problem solve, and also understand the outside world. I feel that when a language of a group of people is dying, and I feel that the culture of that group of people is dying too, or the very existence of that group is dying. Some of you probably have known that I came from Indonesia, and Indonesia is a big country. It has 17,000 and still counting islands, and it has 750 indigenous languages. So Indonesia is one of the most linguistically diverse country in the world. Indonesia has a national language. It's called Indonesian language. That's actually rooted from Malay or Melayu language. So in Malaysia, they call it Malay, but Indonesia calls it Indonesian language. So there are three countries that speak this language: Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. So when we interact between the indigenous groups in Indonesia, we use Indonesian language. And many of these indigenous languages are endangered or diminishing. Some of these indigenous languages are very similar with the others, and some are very different. For example, within the Batak group that has 5 subgroups: the Simalungun, Batak Simalungun, Batak Toba, Batak Karo, Batak Mandailing, and I think it's Batak Pakpak. My ancestor came from the Simalungun group. So I understand, or I can speak the Batak Toba language very fluent, but I don't know and I don't understand the Batak Karo language, even though the Karo region or the original area of the Batak Karo is only 60 miles from the Simalungun area. So it's actually not too far away from each other. And the Batak Simalungun language is one of the indigenous languages that I think is dying or endangered. Their cultural practices also are forgotten. For example, this head covered, for example, my grandma used to wear this all the time at home or in the field, in the farm working, or when she traveled out of town. But my mother never wore this. So there are a lot of cultural practices that have been forgotten, or only a small number of people are practicing them now, including the language itself. Because I want to preserve my ancestor language and also cultural practices, that's why I encourage the people of Simalungun to pick up back this language and the traditions. That is why I speak Batak Simalungun language in many of my videos. That's why you can't translate the words I'm saying. It's not like Indonesian language. And I wear this headdress on my videos. That is my effort, some of my efforts to encourage the people of Simalungun to pick back up the language, to speak the language in within their families. So if you support diversity, I would like to ask you to maintain and preserve the Batak Simalungun language and some cultural practices. And some ways you can do that is by learning a few words in Simalungun language and also by getting on the video with me. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you do help me preserve this language. And Horas, 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 Batak Simalungun.